Hello, my name is Sian Pascal, and welcome to the Light Collective YouTube channel, which often features a lot of yogic philosophy and satsang. And if you're particularly interested in ideas around Tantra, which is where we tend to focus, and wisdom around Tantric philosophy, practice, ideas, then feel free to hit subscribe below and join us for every upcoming wisdom talk that we offer. I'd like to discuss Shakti, the divine feminine principle, and go into some depth into this idea because it's something that I have worked a lot with over the years within women's circles, within courses like the Sacred Woman, and it's a really powerful idea to start to bring into not just your yoga practice, but also your life. So Shakti, as I mentioned, is the term used within the Tantric tradition for the divine feminine. So that is the aspect of the divine that emanates feminine principles. Now, feminine and masculine for some people can feel really gender biased. So if you prefer not to use those terms, you can simply use the Sanskrit term of Shakti. What is Shakti? Well, we can't really describe Shakti without at least dropping a little bit into what its counterpart Shiva is, Shiva being the divine masculine principle. Shiva is all that is formless within the universe. So basically, consciousness, thought. And Shakti is everything else. When we start to experience the divine within Shakti, we start to appreciate the divinity and sacredness of the felt universe. So the cosmos that we can experience with our eyes, ears, nose, mouth. It is taste. It is the scent in the air. It is your lover's breath. It is your gaze at the life force and power of a newborn baby. It is the body that births the baby. It is all aspects of your life, your body that is within physical form. It is also this process of birth, life, and death, the constant cycle, the changes that the physical universe constantly goes through. So to honor those processes within your own body, within your own life, is a deeply Shakti experience. And it is made sacred, this honoring of the physical world and your physical body, your body as the temple, is something which is very specific to the tantric lineage of yoga, which wasn't really expressed very much within the Vedic lineage, which sees the physical as a distraction, sees this world as being an illusion, sees the body as getting in the way of transcendence. Within the tantric tradition, it's seen as a very Shakti-focused lineage. Not all of the tantric lineages were Shakti-focused, but 6 out of the 9 were. And this is because there was a real sense in the power of the creative force, the beauty and experience of humanity, and a sense that this form, what we experience here, is the magic that we can use to create an integrated sense of not transcendence, but liberation. So what we can start to do as practitioners who are working within, say, a tantric kind of lineage or philosophy is to really embrace the beating heart, the tingling of skin within your practice, the warmth of your body and that of the people around you. This is a way to make it sacred. Within the tantric tradition, there are often depictions of Shiva and Shakti together. And when we can have a balance of the two, it's said that it can create this liberation that yogis so deeply desire. I'd like to now look at Shiva and Shakti with a little more detail in the hope that it can help you understand the principle of Shakti with an even greater precision. Shiva consciousness, that formless energy, that formless divine energy, is something that we can experience perhaps within our own practice. It might be that you are in a meditation and you drop into a kind of still state that's even without thought. Or perhaps you can experience it as the space between breaths. So these moments of pure consciousness, pure stillness that might arise within the yoga practice. This is Shiva, the pause. And all action around the pause is Shakti. Within a meditation, it can be really powerful to work with the two together. So allowing a moment of pure stillness within meditation is like dropping into the ground of your own being. This is the space where things have the potential to manifest. When we drop a desire, an idea, or an intention into this pure and still space, this is Shakti. And all that manifests from this intention is also the expression of Shakti. So, for example, if you are working with manifestation within your meditations, dropping into stillness first is really important. This is Shiva, the still and pure ground of awareness. And as you drop the seed of your intention in, maybe it's for a sense of calm, it could be for an object or a relationship. As that manifests in your life, this is the expression of Shakti. Going a little deeper still, a really beautiful analogy that I like to use as well is around the idea of intelligence and form. Intelligence itself is Shiva energy. Form is Shakti. You can think of it in terms of a seed. The seed has an innate intelligence within it that tells it is a mango. So the seed itself will never become a raspberry or a strawberry. The intelligence is inherent within it. How it manifests through trees and branches is all Shakti. But the intelligence of the seed, that pure consciousness itself, is Shiva. You could think of it the same way within your own body. The intelligence of the cell within your liver is Shiva. It's telling the cell how to be a liver cell. But how it grows and forms and creates the liver, this is the manifestation of Shakti. Why is Shakti an important energy for us to focus on now at this time? Why are so many people wanting to find out more about the energy of the divine feminine? I think there are a couple of reasons. The first is that religion has really co-opted the divine feminine and spun a negative viewpoint on it in the West. So for a really long time, spiritual paths did not feature any aspect of the feminine. And at the moment, there is a big reclamation of the beauty and power of femininity, of Shakti, of the world of form, of our bodies, of our cycles. there is a sense that the maternal aspect, the feminine aspect, is also desperately needed in the world right now. And when we can start to honor nature, the physical form, our bodies, perhaps things in the world can start to change, be more compassionate, be more loving. The destruction of our environment is really a kind of testament to a complete disillusion of honoring the feminine that's happened over the last 5,000 or so years. I think that on top of that, there is a sense that most of the women who are practicing yoga at the moment are women, and having a practice which honors the feminine, honors the body, and a sense that the body is cyclical in nature, that perhaps needs different practices for different times of the month, the year, or even across your lifetime, is suddenly really important and powerful. Because not every practice will work for a woman's body. And when we honor that, as opposed to a singular way of doing things, when we honor the multiplicity, when we honor the changing nature of the divine, then we also honor that within ourselves, and we honor the feminine nature. Another reason why the feminine could be seen as having a resurgence and Shakti as an idea and philosophy is so powerful now comes through the idea of Tantra. So the yogis see the different ages and stages of yoga as being necessary for the minds and bodies of the people at the time. So the Vedic period is one in which the people were able to drop into Vedic teachings with a kind of ease that epoch allowed for and required. And it's said that as we have moved into Kali Yuga, which is a very specific epoch or era of time, which faces a lot of challenges. So it's said to be one of the darkest periods in the cycle of the universe. This is the period in which tantric yoga will become very important, a time in which a daily sadhana, a daily practice will be necessary. It's a time where we actually do need to focus on our bodies, not just our minds, that there needs to be some balance between the feminine and the masculine. So how can we start to invoke Shakti in our lives? If we're feeling like the divine feminine is missing, you will sense that there is a kind of dry brittleness to the way you practice yoga or the way you feel in the world. Finding a kind of internal spark is what Shakti is all about. There is a sense that to invoke Shakti is to feel a deep reverence for the physical body as it is, the beauty of the shifts and changes that are happening, whether that is a menstrual cycle, whether it is the aging process, whether it is a kind of human experience that is also happening around you, a changing and shifting of your life. There is a gratitude and appreciation for the birth, life, and death cycle. And within that, there is a sense that honoring often contains ritual. These kinds of rituals I do my best to set up for my students and for those who work with me as a way to really step out of the mundane, the dry, the brittle, the everyday, and start to see the world within a sacred viewpoint. And it's that sacredness that steps us into Shakti. And it could just be that every day you light some incense or a candle before you go about your day, or you set an intention for your day, or you even take a moment to be grateful for 5 things within your life. Or you look around the world, and even if it is feeling a little grey or bleak or dry, you start to look at the world with what I describe as the eyes of Lakshmi, the beauty, the abundance that might exist there without you kind of tapping into. and honoring a reverence of all that exists. On the flip side as well, in a more tangible way, when you start to practice things that have physical or vibrational qualities to them, so that means a shaking practice, even an asana practice that maybe is flowing or juicy or full, a mantra practice that's repetitive, or even a mantra practice that's meditative, all of these things are Shakti in nature because they are connecting us to a kind of dynamic experience within sacredness. When it comes to Shakti practices that are off the yoga mat, it is something that really allows you to connect with your humanity and the beauty around you and the juicy quality of the natural world. So it could be allowing yourself to get naked or be out in nature, or even better, combine the two, be naked out in nature. It is also lovemaking, sacred, deep, connected lovemaking. It is deeply connecting to another person or animal with a really deep presence. And in fact, there is a deep, juicy presence that is very feminine in quality that you can go about your life with. This is very Shakti in nature. We can also look at it in terms of our diet. So when you have a very Shaktified diet, it is a diet that feels alive and wholesome. So it would be kind of sattvic in quality. It's not heavy or processed, or it hasn't been frozen for a long time. There's not like meal prep on a Sunday and you're still eating the same meal on a Friday. Like, that's not Shakti. Shakti is kind of going to the market, smelling the herbs, growing them in your backyard if you are so fortunate, cooking and doing things in a way that is fresh and dynamic. It's listening into your body. What do I need today? All of these things can help amplify Shakti in your diet. There are so many really powerful, sacred practices that can allow you to drop into Shakti in the divine feminine. I love to teach them in The Sacred Woman, which is a course that we run online. And this is a beautiful way to really get a deep and embodied sense of Shakti. We also run short classes on our online studio, and we have a whole page dedicated to Shakti. It's a big part of the way the Light Collective teaches and practices yoga, bringing all of that in. So if you're wanting to go a little deeper into your understanding, study, and practice of Shakti, feel free to head to either the Light Collective online yoga studio or the lightcollective.yoga and search for The Sacred Woman. Good luck in your journey and path towards expanding Shakti energy within your life.